from Lifestyle Sew. What we're going to talk about is faux fur, and what you do and you don't do with faux fur, because lots of people would like to use it, but they can't. Oh, just hold on. Okay, there you go. There you go. Okay. Wants to lie on my jacket. Lots of people want to really don't know how to use it properly. The faux fur I'm using today is really expensive. So it's not cheap. It's like £25 a metre. Because it's used for coats or bed linen, not bed linen, bedspreads, or all the really nice stuff. And I bought some pink for some Dolly's hair because I wanted it to be more realistic. No, I ended up buying a yard, didn't I? I bought a yard of this stuff. The service was amazing, and so it should be, because that's, they sell that. They sell high-end material bits, but I would like to try a few other things, but we will see. But faux fur, what I've got is this faux fur. Can you see? Can you see all the guard hairs? It's pink. You see all the guard hairs. It's absolutely super soft, and it's stunning, and it's gorgeous. Now, what I've done with it is made a gilet for my granddaughter, purely out of the child's kit. Let me just show you if I've still got. Here you go. Back in front, basically, of the child's kit for her. But this is too long. But I did make it long, because I need. The problem is they don't live near me, so they came up for a birthday yesterday. Well, two live 15 minutes away, but my youngest, Harriet, she doesn't live near me, so she's come up, and obviously I've been able to do a fitting on it. So there's just a few things I need to talk to you about this fitting, and what we are going to do about the fitting, or how it went. So this is the gilet. Perfect. So I do have to take about 4 inches off the bottom for her. And I do have to drop the armhole, because it is a gilet. Now, Short-Fit Designs like to keep them nice and uptight to your armhole. And to be honest, I could have done that in the pattern work straight away, and I wish I had done, thinking, but that's why it's obviously for winter, it's to go over a woolies and things like that. So, but the curve was good. I made, if I can show you the other side, if I can turn it inside out, you see, I made it into like a soft V that goes down to get that gilet look. The shoulders, see, looks like one continuous piece actually. I'm going to show you how to do that. And the sides are pretty good. Look, there again. You can't actually really see where the actual side meets and the side doesn't. I have overlocked this, so you can do it on the sewing machine as well as overlocking. So how did we do it on the overlocker? So this is a 5-thread overlocker with a safety stitch. You can actually see 5-thread overlocker with a safety stitch. Now there's a few tricks and tips that you need to do to sew any fur. And it is vitally important you do these things. Otherwise, one, it won't go through the overlocker or your sewing machine, because it's the same. And two, you don't have to put an overlock on this. This is a knit fabric. It can be left raw. This will be left raw on the side. It is a knit fabric. What you do have to do once you cut it is brush it off. Now I use a comb to comb out all the little tiny end bits, to get all the end bits out. See, there's still a bit there. Go all the way around so you don't get any fluffy end bits, because it does create, once you start cutting long fur, lots of fluff. I hope it gets right up your nose, especially if you wear makeup, because it sticks. You can retrim the neckline, but there's a technique to doing this. So you do not, under any circumstances, take your scissors to it and just cut it along, or take a rotary cutter and put it down and just cut it, because what you'll end up doing is give yourself a complete end like that. It'll be just end. It won't have the guards, fur won't hang over the end, so you don't see the edge. It literally will be like that. And not only does it look unprofessional, it won't look right at all. It'll look all your work. Clearly you don't have to use an expensive fur jacket. I wouldn't make this for her in this expensive fur jacket normally, put it that way. This would be for me if I was going to make it, but it's pink, and I'm not gelling to the pink. So let's get into how I'm going to get another piece of fur to actually show you how to do all of this. Just hold on. Right, so I've got 2 little pieces of fur, so I can show you what to do. And you think he's not in the room? He's in the room. So, oh, are you making your body beautiful? Yes. So as you see, he is in the room with us. Right, let me just tip this down. If I get this under here, maybe like that. Sorry, I'm still working out really how to... I've done so many videos tipped up like this, and then it hasn't videoed. Right, okay. Oh, stuff's coming off the edge. With fur, see, all of that's going down the right way. You have to make sure the first thing is your fur goes down one way. Okay, now this, the way I've cut this is not how you cut it, because that, you see, you've got that edge. Because these are just sample things I'm chopping about. So you've got the edge that goes down. That's not how it cuts. That, all those guard furs should really come across, and you've got like a thick pile. It shows the thick pile of it. That is incorrect. So let me just show you how to cut it. First of all, you can only cut your fur on the wrong side. You only cut your fur on the wrong side. Now, for this demonstration, let me just use this ruler. So you can put a guide along to where you want it cut. You need to use, she says, and I've just lost my, how does that work? That should come straight out, okay. Oh, let me tighten that up. Pulling it out, and that bit needs to come out on that corner. So it is a faff, and then what you're doing is you're pulling it down, pulling all of that down, get rid of all that edge, and then I use a little comb to get in there and comb all the rest, get any loose fabric, any loose hairs rather, in there. So when you turn that round, can you see the difference? Now, all of those guard hairs are hanging over the edge. Here you've got sharp edge, which is incorrect, and now you've got all of the guard hairs going down. The top is correct. This is not correct because this is the fur, the thickness of the fur, but the top is actually correct. So you can sew it across and get your edges, and that's fine, but you can't use scissors or a rotary cutter like I did here for the sample. You have to turn it over and just cut that material just slightly, get it down, and it's a faff. It is a bit of a faff to do, but once you do it, you see the difference? No fur really on this side, loads of fur on that side. So on the edge of your material, you get this look, like you don't see here, see how that's it, you don't see the raw edge underneath. It's all nice and fluffy down. Now the sides, I'm just going to get rid of this fluff because I'm just going to get rid of this because it's hot. This gets everywhere, and it does get everywhere when you work with fur. So clear your room, so you just only are going to really is, it's amazing difference, isn't it? If you have a look, see all that there? Don't see it on that side. See there? And on this side, it's such a difference. That's actually, if you have a look, see how different that is to that side? That's what you're trying to achieve, that it comes out like that. And you can only achieve it by cutting it on the back using a scalpel. And you don't try and get right down to the fur. That's why you can't use a rotary cutter and you can't use a pair of scissors, because you're going to cut all of that off like this. So that is the most important tip you're ever going to learn about using faux fur. So make sure you save this video for this, if it's just this alone. Well, it is this alone, because this is all the video's about. Right, the next thing is sewing it. Now, you can't sew when you sew. So when you do it on the straight, it is going to be on the straight like this. So it is going to be like that. The guard hairs aren't going to come off like that, because this is where you're going to be sewing straight, because you're always going to have your fur going down. So but you can't just sew two pieces of material together like that. You just can't sew it. You can get them in nice and neat like that, but to sew that on a serger or a sewing machine, one, it's going to break your needle. You're going to think, oh, my settings are wrong. How do you put your settings on that? You don't have to do anything. Well, you do on a sewing machine. You have to make sure the actual stitch length is longer. So I'd use at least a 3.5 maybe. Just check it on a sample. But on a serger, my settings is a 5-lock overlock. It's all set. That's what it is. And it just works out like that. But you just can't sew it like that. So what you have to do, and you have to do this, is cut it. See, it's there. I'm going to cut this fur away. And it's always easy if you go up against the fur the opposite way, I find. So I'm just going to see if I can do it. See if I can just do it like that. See that? So I'm going to cut that away. So you've got to check it to see if it's okay. It needs a little bit more there. Comes off. You can see, and it's about 1/4 of an inch away I've cut. It's not perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's roughly about 1/4 of an inch. You'll know instantly. And I just want to do it like this so I can just show you again. So I'm just roughly taking out the bulk of both sides, and it'll be fine. And then what will happen is you will end up, you're serging or you're stitching on a sewing machine, whichever way you prefer. Remember, you don't have to finish this edge. You can just stitch this edge all the way down. It does not have to be serged. I'm only serging it because for neatness, and I've got a serger, and it's just so quick, bzzz, straight through. I love sergers, and I think if you're sewing and you're serious about sewing, then eventually you need to save for a serger. You know, your squirrel box, keep on putting your money in, and then go. And I think when you go on these, days out, which I'm going on at Crystal Palace, on the 8th of October, I will be at Crystal Palace, just walking around. So if anybody recognises me, please say hello. And yeah, but you don't need a serger for it because it's a knit fabric. But you need a nice, your stitch will be naturally. So that when you feel this edge, that actually is quite, it looks bulky, but it's actually not. It actually feels quite soft and thin. It's where as soon as you go on here, it's really bulky. But when you turn it over, this is where the magic happens. Because look, Where is the seam? Can't see the seam. It's amazing, isn't it? You actually can't see the seam. Well, I can't see the seam going through. You can't, literally, physically, you can't see that seam all the way through. You can't. So, but I'm going to have to adjust this now, because after trying it on my granddaughter, it's too long and I need to drop the armhole. And that's all I'm going to be doing. You can, if you want to, just to make it prettier, if you like, cut 1/4 inch all the way around and all the way around, and do a little binding, a soft binding all the way around and all the way around. But I'm not going to do that because I don't think she's going to have a lot of wear of this. I think it's only going to be like a 5-minute wonder, and that's it, thrown on the floor in the cupboard. The dog will probably end up wearing it, even though it's so expensive. And this is what happens to your shoulders when you do the same technique. Look. And that's how it should be. You should be looking at the front that all of these are up, that you don't actually see. It looks like it's one continuous line. Even though this is going down this way, and that's the other thing, and this is going down that way. Make sure it goes down at the front and make sure it goes down at the back. And that's why you've got the little spiky hairs all the way here, because the seam is lovely. You've got a great seam. An invisible seam, but you don't know why the fur's going one way or the other. It's, and that's it with the faux fur. Now, how simple is that? It's all about technique. See, how much is that? It's coming off. Right, so push that all to one side, out of the way. So that's okay for that. And I'm just gonna, on the side, just gonna do the hairs up the opposite way, just in case there's any loose stuff. I always give this a shake out, so that's that. Tiny bit of loose stuff there, and the armholes. Yeah, okay. Just turn it around that way. I literally just done the armholes. That's the serger thread, which I'm going to thread through the rest of the stitches. And you need to do this because this is just going to come out on a child's face. Or an adult's face if you're doing an adult. Because obviously this can be done for an adult as well. Exactly the same principle. So if you really want to make yourself, you know, one for yourself. Remember, there's no facings or anything in this. So there you go. And that's it. And that's what I got off the edges. I did shake it out before I brought it, so that's what I literally got off the edges. But I did shake it outside, to give it a good shake outside first. Actually, I missed a bit there. Let me do that again. I missed that little tiny bit. There you go. Just a weeny bit. And that is the gilet for my granddaughter. Made by the Short Fit Designs. Isn't that lovely? That's lovely. I might make myself a faux one myself. But this material, obviously, you wouldn't normally, I guess, make it in as high quality as this fur. I mean, this is top-end designer fur. But I'd make myself one in like this. But children, it's fine. They get bored with things. But this obviously is going to be absolutely amazing. Especially now I've cut the bottom off. And I'm just so happy with this. It's such a nice little thing. Just so happy with it. It's such a nice little thing to make. But you can have one too with your Short Fit Designs, exactly the same. There's not it's not rocket science to actually make this. And if you think, oh, the armhole doesn't work, I'll cut a bit off. The armhole's not going to work, by the way, with a Short Fit Design with a gilet. You will need to like I say, I would have naturally, if I was making it for myself, I would have naturally dropped the armhole, because you need that movement. You're going to put it over something else and you won't be able to. But if you make a real nice fur one, remember you want something thin underneath, a nice thin top, a jumper underneath. So, because you know, don't want to be looking like Michelin Man. So I'm just threading my ends, and that's it, I'm done. From both of us. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.